Praises. Hi, welcome to my channel, Imperfect Woman of God. Today we're going to talk about Kingdom Man. A Kingdom Man is an identity giver, a spiritual provider. Love is a sacrifice. He understands that. Provision. He depends on Jesus. He's very Jesus dependent. He heals. A man of God, the Kingdom Man, he will challenge you, change you. You know, he will challenge you to pray more, to do God's work more. He will expand you. He will help you detox from like bad things. He will not be perfect. He will lead you. He will sacrifice for you. He will cover you. Oh, no, I don't think so. A kingdom woman. You know, she's very modest. She's a helpmate. She teaches the children and women. She's a spiritual provider. And you have very different, that's how you kind of can identify what the kingdom man is compared to a regular, like average Joe, I guess, man out here now. Like the self-made man, he's a loner, an introvert. You know, he feel like he needs no therapy. He feel like he needs no help to change because he's become his own guy. Let me see, culture made man. A culture man, you know, it's a made man. You know, he goes by the music, he goes by the trends, he's very inconsistent. He's always with what the world is doing. He always trying to stay up to par what the world's doing and all those things. You got your self-made and your culture and your kingdom man. You know, Genesis chapter 29 verse 32 through 35. A man can have sex with you, you know, and still don't love you. That's what a lot of females don't understand. You know, in Genesis chapter 29, verse 32 through 35, basically she was talking about how she wanted to have a baby with a man that didn't love her. She knew he didn't love her, but, you know, she went to God on it. She stopped praising God. You know, she stopped producing kids, you know, went to God to, you know, touch his heart to change him. I feel like that's what a lot of women need to do these days. If you meet a man and he's like a self-made man or a culture man where he's too caught up in himself and he feels like he needs no change, needs no therapy, or he goes by what the world is doing, so he's very inconsistent also, that's a culture man. You know, you have to pray. You know, that's why it's not good to marry a person you're unequally yoked with. A man should be able to be vulnerable with you, you know, act like a child, you know, being vulnerable means he can tell you his fears. He can show you his flaws. He can show you his real self. That's a very vulnerable, intimate moment with somebody. That's a different way. But yeah, that's pretty much it. A kingdom man, he's an identity giver. He gives identity, a spiritual provider. You know, he understands that love comes sacrifice, provision. He's Jesus dependent and he heals, you know. A self-made man is a loner, an introvert, feels like he needs no therapy because he's become his own, I guess, God in a way. A culture man is very caught up in the world, very inconsistent. See, you know, he goes by what the music and movies say. He goes by what the world says. That's a culture man. You know, he's always going. You know, and like I tell, you know, like I said, a female, you know, you cannot keep a man by sex. The way you get a man is the way you can lose a man. That's why a lot of females get a man with sex, lose a man with sex. And what he does is cheat because you got him in a way where it's about perversion and sex and not for who you are. So that's all I got to say. A kingdom man, a self-made man, and a culture man. You got to know the difference so that you go through life, you know what that is, you know, and you won't never confuse the three. You know, it's always separate. You know, you'll know when you get a kingdom man because he's very Jesus dependent. You know, he heals. He's an identity giver, a spiritual provider. He will challenge you to pray. He will challenge you to do work in the kingdom. He will expand you. He will help you detox from bad things, you know. He will not be perfect, but he will understand these things. He will be a natural leader, of course, you know, because a man's supposed to lead anyway. He will understand what sacrifice is. He will cover you spiritually, you know. So I got this all from Redefined TV. You can check them out. They are a nice Christian couple that I've been watching for so many years. They have taught me so much and making me a better person to recognize a kingdom man. You can recognize the difference between a kingdom man and a man that's not kingdom minded, and it's helping me out in my way of dating and doing things. So that's all I got to say. Ooh, my lips, Lord.